Podcast City Network.
Hey guys, and welcome to another exciting episode of Final Score, episode 101. That's right, we're bringing you literally the fundamentals of awesome sports podcasting because it's, just what we do. And as you can see, we finally got it fixed. We have the chat working, as you can already see, comments filling up the chat. Thank you, Jimmy, for joining us, as well as Cheyenne. We thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. And now you guys can see your comments live on air. How awesome is that? Craig, come on. How awesome is that?
It's great, man. I like seeing everything when it actually works. We got all the kinks worked out, but it's fun. It's been a weird weekend here in Central Florida. It's been like raining all day.
Yeah.
And it was weird because I think we got the same weather that they had at the Masters yesterday, that stopped play. But no, it's a fun episode. We're happy to be at our new time, same day, new time. But I know this is definitely a little bit easier on you for sure.
Things happen, but at the end of the day, we get everything going. Everything is gorgeous. And man, look at those comments. I love it in there. But we do have a whole bunch of stuff that is going to be happening on this show. But before we can get to that, you got to make sure to follow us on social media at PCN Final Score on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. Make sure to go on there and smash those subscribe buttons, and also make sure to hit the like and share buttons on this post. That way you can help Final Score get out there even more. And the only way we can do it is with your guys' help. So if you could, please hit those buttons and help us get that out there even more. But like you mentioned, the Masters has taken place and has now concluded with Hideki Matsuyama victorious, first Japanese man to win the major. Dude, this is a huge feat, not only for him, but also for the Masters to actually even finish, given all the weather and even political clout and stuff, which, we don't touch that, but still, everything that was going on, pretty crazy. What do you think about it?
Yeah, well, I'm just glad we got the Masters back. I mean, I know last year they had to reschedule it to the fall because of COVID, and they weren't able to have fans, and now this year they actually had a chance to do it on time. We had some weather yesterday, caused some delays, but glad we got it finished. And yeah, what a finish from Hideki Matsuyama. I mean, but just the fact that it was like he came out of the gates in round 3 and just destroyed it. Had a 65. He had in that same round, I think he had 3 eagles in the whole weekend, all on par 5s, which, I mean, if you watch golf, this dude can absolutely crush it. He's a ball striker through and through. But this guy in round 3, he finished the back 9 with an eagle and 4 birdies. Like, just destroyed it in round 3. Round 4 got off to a pretty good start too. He had 3 birdies and a bogey, but that back 9 he had back-to-back bogeys at 15 and 16, and then also at 18. So that really kind of made it an interesting last couple holes. But he did what he had to do. He held off the competition, and he becomes the first male from Japan to win a major. First male from Japan, and he's actually the second from the Asia region. I forget who it was, but from South Korea. He was from South Korea, and he won the PGA Championship 2009, I think it was.
Right.
I have the name right here somewhere. But anyway. Yeah, it was fun.
Still a huge feat. And
Y.E. Yang.
Look, that hit you like a ton of rocks, man. Anyways, it's really awesome feat, though, either way, to see Hideki be able to pull this off. And like we said, it was really crazy when you see it all the way through. And it was not without a little bit of, I guess we could say, drama right there at the end. It wasn't real close throughout until you got to the end because Will Zalatoris ended up being able to really pressure him right there at the end, finishing 9 under. But isn't he just a rookie, Craig?
He's got a fantastic story. So yeah, he's technically a rookie of the Masters, and he's not even on the PGA Tour. He doesn't even have a PGA Tour card. He's gotten three top 15 finishes in 2021, and he actually got in because he accumulated so many FedEx Cup points that it garnered him a special exemption for the rest of the season. And so now he can actually he can play in tournaments like this and play in majors. But he's had a pretty good run. He's super young. He's only 24 years old. He's really just definitely got a lot of he's got a lot of confidence. I was watching his presser after today's round, and he's definitely got a lot of confidence. He's going to be a force for the PGA Tour. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's only his third major championship start, and now he was, I think, in the top he was in some of the top finishers in those other starts, but he was top 6 at the U.S. Open in 2020. That's what it was. But yeah, him having 2 top 10 finishes already this year, and now being second at the Masters, he's got a bright future ahead of him for sure.
Oh, yes, most definitely. It'll be really exciting to watch his career and see how he ends up being able to develop, especially against a lot of great competition. And, man, it's really crazy to see, like, where golf has progressed to where it is now, especially when you see a lot of the big timers who have really kind of fallen by the wayside, the Tigers of the world. And it's now, I feel, a more even playing field. A lot of guys that are able to come in here, I think, and have a really good shot at being able to win some majors, man.
Well, it's been like that for a while, because remember when Tiger Woods fell off after his previous accident that he had, and it was the incident with his wife, and she found out that he was doing, everybody kind of knows the story, but found out what he was doing, and that really destroyed his. After that, golf had a big void, and they didn't really know who was going to take over the mantle. Rory McIlroy was supposed to be the guy. He kind of was, but then he wasn't. But obviously, golf is going to be a lot more popular when you have that international presence. And the fact that we know how Japan is with their sports. Look at baseball. Golf is going to be an Olympic sport at the Olympics in Japan, if they have the Olympics in Japan because of COVID. But yeah, just having all these other names pop up. Jordan Spieth had been having a rough go of it. He had a really strong showing, finishing at 7 under, tied for third. John Rahm, who's the Spaniard, he finished tied for 5th at 6 under. Mark Leishman from Australia, 6 under. I mean, there's a lot of guys from the international realm that had some strong showings at the Masters. But I gotta talk real quick about Xander Schauffele. Xander Schauffele, you gotta feel bad for this guy, because going in, he was in striking distance, right?
Mm-hmm.
He hit 4 consecutive birdies on the back nine at 12, 13, 14, and 15, and absolutely lost it on hole 16. He had a triple bogey. I'm sorry. He had a triple bogey on 16 that really kind of took him out of the running because he had a striking shot. Like, he had a chance coming in, and unfortunate for him, hitting that triple on 16 really kind of hurt his chances for finishing even close to Matsuyama. So he had a chance, but that triple bogey on 16 hurt. But it's his 8th top 10 finish at a major championship, and recently. So he was just short of falling second at the 2019 in terms of Masters finishes too. So tough weekend for him, especially that last part when you were so close and then a triple bogey in one hole. Just kind of shows you what golf can be like. Those of you that play golf, I'm not very good. I do love to play, but I'm not very good yet. So it's a lot of fun.
Man.
But yeah, good. But yeah, Spieth had a strong showing, finished tied for third, and definitely a strong weekend for him. But a lot of fun. Always great. I love watching the Masters tournament. It's always great to watch. I'm also a golf guy. I like watching golf on the weekends. I'm a little weird.
No, it's all good. I'm not any good at golf unless you take me to a driving range. I'm kind of like a oh, what was his name? Oh yeah, Happy Gilmore. Just drive it as hard as you can. But I mean, short game. I don't know. Actually, I had a decent short game too. I don't know. Maybe I should pick golf back up. No, that's a bad idea. All that wrestling that what that did to my back. Too much. But still, always great to watch the
100
Masters.
yards. Yeah, 100 yards and in, I'm good. My chipping and putting on point. My short irons are decent. Once I get into the middle irons, it gets really, really sketchy. It gets really sketchy.
Oh man, so you're saying don't play you in putt. Got you. All right, so
I'm great at scramble golf because I can chip and putt really well. But once you get a little further away, like my ball usually ends up like I hit it 200 yards, but I hit it to the other hole that's next to us. I just in the trees.
Oh, it's too much, man. But you know what? At the end of the day, it was still a great tournament to watch. And, again, hats off to Hideki Matsuyama. A great victory for you. And, man, way to go out there and get it and close it out there at the end. But, you can always close it out and be able to go on over to our content platforms, which you can find in a number of different places, including Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, Podbean, Google Podcasts, Player FM, Bullhorn, and Castbox. And of course, all of our video content is also available on YouTube. Just go on any of those platforms and search PCN Final Score, one word, and you'll be able to like, subscribe, comment, all that great stuff from there, and be able to check out all the great content that we have. And we have a buttload. We're at episode 101. Come on. We have a buttload of content. And come on, look what we've done over 100 episodes, man. So definitely go over there. And of course, you can always find us at podcastcity.net/Final Score, which is our main hub of everything Final Score. So go check it out. But you know what else you should check out? That awesome Baylor championship win, because it has happened. Baylor beats Gonzaga 86-70, not even close, and wins their first basketball title in school history. Absolutely huge moment for the program. Man, what do you think about this?
Well, it seems like already it's been forever since this game played, and it's only been about a week. So definitely feels like it's been a long ways away. But Gonzaga, you kind of saw from that Final Four game against UCLA, they struggled big time, and you saw a weakness. And we talked about it on last week's show, and we talked about how Baylor. This is a contrasting bit of styles. Like Baylor thinks they can run with Gonzaga, but they also play tough defense like UCLA. So that I don't think Gonzaga was ready for that, especially how they got off to that start. Baylor came out. They came out swinging early, and they clamped down on Gonzaga. Jalen Suggs got in some foul trouble early. They got off to a 9-0 run. They stretched that to a 29-10 lead. Within the first 10 minutes of the half. And that was the largest deficit that Gonzaga has ever faced this season. So the fact that this happened was surprising to some, but not others. Like, I know we talked about it. I had Gonzaga winning my bracket pool, but looking at how Gonzaga played against UCLA and previewing the championship game, I had a feeling Baylor was going to win just by how they play. And Gonzaga, that's a tough emotional win, even if it is against a team that was an 11 seed. You get that far and you get a close game and you get into overtime, like it's emotionally draining to play in those types of games. So Gonzaga coming off of that, you didn't really know how they were going to respond. But it's a great win by Baylor. 73 years between national title game appearances. That's
Absolutely
how long
huge.
it's been for Baylor. And what a job by Coach Drew. When he took over that job, that program was in a pretty rough shape. But he turned that now. Like, you could argue that Baylor is the new Kansas of the Big 12. Like, they are the dominant force. They get the best recruits.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the FBI sniffing around their campus like Kansas does.
Oh
Um,
man, you went there.
but but I went there a little bit. But Baylor, I mean, Baylor has become such a powerful force in men's college basketball and women's college basketball, but they become such a force in an already pretty good pretty good conference. But the fact that there's just so much of a gap from Baylor to the rest of the country just kind of shows and it's really a testament to how Coach Drew has brought that team together, how he brought that program together,
Right.
and now you see it culminate in their first ever national championship.
Yeah, and it's absolutely amazing to be able to see how that's gone. And like you said, we covered last week the maturation of this program to where it was to where it is. And I have to absolutely agree. They are the class of the Big 12 and of now college basketball. You cannot ever count out Baylor now going forward. So really crazy to see another program really cement itself. And I feel that Baylor's really here to stay. And I think they have a lot that could really help them be able to keep on into the future. Gonzaga, though, not looking all that great. I don't even know if we mentioned earlier how they were held to a season low 70 points after averaging the nation's best 91.9 points per game. Absolutely amazing to see what Baylor was able to do to Gonzaga, and first undefeated team since Indiana State in 79 to enter a title game and lose. That's crazy, man. That's so crazy. And I picked Gonzaga. I'll be honest. I picked Gonzaga, so that's egg on my face. But hey, I mean, it happens, right?
Yeah. No, it was it was kind of a tough pick because, Gonzaga, yes, they still hadn't lost, even though it was a close game against UCLA, but they were still undefeated, so they were still kind of the favorite going into that game. But just the way that Baylor plays, and they play on both ends of the court, they feel like they can run with Gonzaga, which they did. Not only did they run with them, they ran them out of the gym.
Yes.
Like, that's how bad it was. But yeah, it was a pretty good game. I did get to catch some of it with my work schedule, so did get to catch a little bit. But it was a good game overall. Congrats to Baylor on their first ever championship.
Yes, absolutely. Congratulations to Baylor for pulling it off against a favorite Gonzaga team. This is huge win for them, and hats off to the Bears for finally getting them a championship in basketball, man. That's awesome. Absolutely awesome. But you know what else is awesome? Yeah. Go ahead. You know what's awesome?
Well, my other computer's restarting, so I don't have my notes right now.
It
literally just died on me.
Oh,
it's plugged in and it's restarting.
You gotta
so
love
I don't
it.
have my notes.
But that's okay, because I am here to save the day, because you can now get all of the latest Final Score merch on the Podcast City Network. Shop at podcastcity.net/shop. And so many great things that you can get on there, because at the PCN shop, they have everything you need, whether it's a neck gaiter to protect you from COVID-19, a mug for your morning coffee, or a t-shirt just to look cool like this guy. We got you covered. Get the latest apparel and gear for your favorite podcast and Podcast City Network by visiting podcastcity.net/shop and checking out the entire lineup. And I tell you, it's a lot of great stuff. I think almost over 100 items now on the shop. So go check it out. podcastcity.net/shop. A lot of great stuff. A lot of great stuff. And of course, now I'm somehow magically opening a website editor, because that's fun. But while we do that, let's go ahead and take a look at the fact that Deshaun Watson is not having a good time and is now up to 22. That's right. You heard correctly. 22 lawsuits that have been filed against him for sundry things, including sexual misconduct. And it's getting out of hand at this point. You don't know what to believe. You think that with this amount of allegations that there's absolutely no way that these could be false. And man, we went from talking about possibly one of the largest trades for a quarterback in recent memory to probably one of the biggest scandals really that we've had in a long time. This is absolutely insane. What are your thoughts on this so far?
It's kind of weird how it's kind of crazy how the first name that came up, Deshaun Watson, released a statement, and it was, very strongly denying anything that was going on. And then his agent was talking about people trying to do this for publicity and money and all this kind of stuff. But now we've had 21 other people come out. So I do find it kind of weird and odd, though, that there have been no names attached, at least even in court. Like it's just literally like a what's that? A class action lawsuit, basically, where like a bunch of people are just in it, and it's a conglomerate of people. But that is one thing that two judges actually have ruled, is that the plaintiff suing Deshaun Watson must identify themselves. They have to. But actually, one of them has come forward. The first one is Ashley Solis, and they actually showed this on NFL Live, I think it was. But basically, the news is that these women have to identify themselves, basically, or else there's no case, kind of thing. And it only makes sense because the defense is going to, say, hey, this is all hearsay. They're just making this up where there's no names. But then when names come out, now you've got to basically, okay, ball's in your court now. So it is very crazy how this has really spun out of control. It's really kind of spun out of control from Deshaun Watson's standpoint, and you hit it right on the head. He was one of the most sought after trade acquisitions in the NFL because of his relationship with the Houston Texans. Right. And then now it's like, okay, nobody wants to touch him until all this blows over. But there is also another side to this story.
There always is another side, and that is that from what Watson and his camp are claiming is that Watson never engaged in acts with plaintiffs that weren't, quote unquote, mutually desired. Excuse me, saying that pretty much any kind of engagement was done in a consensual manner. So with that type of thing being said, it's I don't really know where this is actually going to go, because now we're talking about the bounds of what is and is not consensual. And in a court of law, who knows how this is going to get interpreted. And I do worry that if something did happen, that someone does walk free. But I also worry that if false allegations tend to be false allegations, then again, the reverse happens. So this is honestly turned into, lack of a better way of saying it, just a massive just pile of crap, because this situation is just ever devolving, I think, at this point, and who knows which way this is going to go, honestly.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, not only for the people involved, all the 22 women that have been named on this lawsuit, and those that have come forward. It's obviously a terrible situation for them, but it's also a bad situation for Deshaun Watson if some of those accusers do end up being false accusations. Mm-hmm. We got to talk about that too. Obviously, obviously you don't want to make light of the situation. You don't want to make light of sexual assault allegations or anything like that, because that's not something to joke about.
Definitely not.
But we do have a lot of people that are out there and falsely accuse just for the notoriety, the name recognition, the potential money grab. And those people need to be prosecuted too.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't, because you don't want to see people falsely accused just because he's a very popular and successful professional African American athlete in the NFL, one of the biggest brands in the world. But on the other side of it, you don't want this to be true either, because you don't want people to have to go through these kinds of things. So it's a really rough situation. You're right. It has been devolving by the week, and we're not really going to know until all have come forward and there's actually a court hearing or a court date set.
Mm-hmm. And it's probably going to be some time until all this even happens. But I mean, at some point we will cover it here on Final Score and let you know what happens, because this is probably one of the most talented quarterbacks that you see rising in the NFL right now, and now all this. So who knows what's going to happen? We'll definitely let you know here on Final Score. Just like we're going to talk about quarterback Sam Darnold being traded from the Jets to the Carolina Panthers for a 2021 sixth rounder and a second and fourth rounder in 2022. So 3 total picks going to the Jets. Were you surprised by this trade?
When I got news of this trade, I was in the middle of a training class and you were in the room with me. And as soon as I heard that, I went, what? And I looked down, checked my phone. I peeked around the corner and I was like, and you said, Sam Darnold just got traded. And I was like, yeah, I was just about to tell you. But yeah, it was when I saw that, the first thing that went through my mind was, thank God he got out of the black hole that is Adam Gase, not the Jets, Adam Gase.
Yes.
Okay. Because here's what happens. Yes, I know Adam Gase isn't there anymore, and it's Robert Salah, but it's different because like I still feel like Sam Darnold is a very talented quarterback. He still has a lot of potential. I mean, good Lord, when you come out of the NFL draft and you have as high of hype as he had, you want him to at least a little bit be able to live up to that. Mm-hmm. That's also the ugly side of when you have, the mothership putting out all this, like they want to hype everybody up as the next this, the next that, and just let guys go out and freaking play, man. Like Zion, they do it with Zion all the time. They shove him down your throat. They shove down the quarterback. Like how often already were they shoving Tua down everyone's throats? And then before that, Sam Darnold. And now they're shoving down this whole quarterback class. Trevor Lawrence is now the next god of a quarterback that's going to come in the NFL, all because of what they say and what they put out. They do. You know it too.
They do, and that's what's so sad about it, man.
You're trying to dispute me, but you know it's true.
I do.
This is what the mothership does. They shove this crap down your throat, like But that's the. So I was so happy for Sam Darnold. Like the first thing come through my head, I was like, oh my God. He's going to be there with Matt Rule and with his creativity and not having to get rid of Christian McCaffrey. Like now all they have to do is like solidify their offensive line, get a wide receiver, and their offense actually probably won't look bad. Like I'm excited to see what Sam Darnold will do in Carolina and look at the rest of that division. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, they want to score points. The Saints, I know they don't have Drew Brees, but even if they got Jameis Winston back there, Sean Payton likes to score points. Matt Ryan, not afraid to score points. They still got a pretty decent offense. Like it's actually the NFC South could just turn out to like a shootout on every week. Every division game could turn into a shootout. I love it.
Absolutely could. They absolutely could, and especially when you look at the kind of lineup they have, it's a little bit weak at the moment, but you also got to look at their draft positioning, because the draft positioning for the Panthers could come into a huge play just because there is a lot of good wide receivers, I feel like, that are coming out, and they have the number, the 8th pick and then the 39th pick. So a lot that they can do with that early on if they really wanted to, especially now that they have a quarterback situation figured out, because also, and this could also help them depending upon what happens, Teddy Bridgewater has been allowed to seek a trade on his own. So if he wants out of Carolina, they're letting him have the green light, which could also open the doorway for him to go back to New Orleans, I think. Saying it here first that Teddy Bridgewater could end up back in New Orleans very easily. And we could see a lot of things happen where Panthers are able to get a little bit of capital out of something like that. So who knows what'll happen. And it's going to be interesting to see now with Sam Darnold under center, what kind of Panthers team we're really going to get, especially now you have Christian McCaffrey behind him too. I mean, I think odds are Sam Darnold's in a much better situation than he was in New York.
Yeah, it's definitely. I don't know if I highly doubt you would see an in-division trade like that. Panthers would not want to trade. Panthers would not want to trade Bridgewater to a team that he's going to start and see twice a year. But the Jets do play the Panthers this year. Let's throw that out there. The Jets play the Panthers this year. That's going to be fun. But if you look at the trade, you mentioned 3 picks, but none of them are first rounders. Mm-hmm. The Jets get a 6th rounder for this year, which blows my mind that Sam Darnold only was a 6th rounder for this year. Yeah, it's a 2nd and 4th for next year. But we're talking about just 1 year. Like when you had Matt Stafford get traded for multiple 1st-round picks, when you have quarterbacks getting traded with 1st-round picks involved, and Sam Darnold isn't even worth the 1st-round tender, like to me is insane. But I'm glad he landed where he did because I think the ceiling is very high for him now, and he can absolutely redeem himself. And one final thing, if Sam Darnold turns around his career, even though I don't think it's terrible to begin with, if he turns around his career, Adam Gase should not be allowed to coach in the NFL at any position again.
Oh, you're so ridiculous. So ridiculous, sir. At the end
Look
of
at
the
all the quarterbacks he's destroyed. Look at all the quarterbacks he's destroyed.
I mean, there's a bunch of coaches who've destroyed players before, but here we are. But the thing is, come on, look at Sam Darnold, though. His first pass in the NFL was a pick 6 against your Detroit Lions.
But hey, guess what? What happened the rest of that game?
They won.
Jets crushed the Lions.
I'm just saying, it was very foreboding.
The first pass.
It was very foreboding. Come on. The pick 6 was reminiscent of his time with the Jets, and then the rest of the game is going to be hopefully the rest of his career. There you go. That's how you rebound. The Jets can't have success at quarterback. They're not allowed anymore. So at the end of the day,
they're going to go get Zach Wilson. So they're going to have they're just starting all over again. They just hit the reset button every couple of years, and that's part of the reason why the Jets don't have success. They're not consistent. Their front office has been awful forever. They can't they don't stick with the quarterback. And I'm not even saying that because they stuck with Geno Smith. Okay, that wasn't smart. They stuck with Mark Sanchez. Probably wasn't smart either. But I mean, if you have a halfway decent quarterback like Sam Darnold and you can't bring in an offensive coach, quote, offensive coach in Adam Gase, and he completely destroys the franchise.
Yeah, and it's funny. We thank Jimmy for his comment. Craig's Gase Gate, that he's calling it, is one of the reasons he's here. So, hey, at least there's somebody who loves the fact that you hate Adam Gase so freaking much. We also thank you, David C. Russell, for joining us, host of Deathmatch Russell Podcast. You can check that out at podcastcity.net. A lot of great stuff going on over there. But, yeah, man, I'm telling you, Adam Gase is garbage, but they're not going to ban him for being a bad coach unless...
he's that bad. All the coaches, I know they're not going to do it as a league. All the coaches just band together and go, you know what?
That'd be too easy.
Dude, you're really bad. You suck.
You suck, bro.
You've destroyed so many quarterbacks. You should not be. That's like Matt Patricia should not be allowed to coach anymore. Matt Millen, Marinelli,
Matt
all
Patricia,
those guys.
That was just, one bad run as a head coach. Come on now. Come on.
Matt Patricia was underqualified as a coach, but yet the Lions were like, we'll take a flyer on him.
Oh my gosh.
But no, I agree with Jimmy's comment. I hope Darnold comes out slinging. Love when a guy makes good on a second chance. Absolutely, because when you're hyped up as much as he is, you want to see him not be a bust. And I think this is a step in the right direction for him to go to a place that actually has a good offensive minded coach that actually might be able to develop him. And you've got an all-star, a certified stud all-star in Christian McCaffrey in your backfield. You're already way ahead of where you were in New York.
Oof. Yeah, that's true. That is true. But, tis what it is. And that's where we're at with that. So we'll see what happens with Sam Darnold in Carolina. I do wish him all the best. I think, honestly, he's not going to have too hard of a time once he gets over there. But, you never know. We'll see. But you know what else is always awesome? Our parent network, Podcast City Network, and all the great things that they are able to do and honestly bring to the table, because FinalScore is a proud member of Podcast City Network, because Podcast City Network now has 20 independent podcast members across all different genres of podcasting, and you can find PCN on all the major social media platforms, including Facebook at facebook.com/Podcast City Network, on Twitter at Podcast City Net. and of course on YouTube by searching Podcast City Network. And you can also now find us on Instagram at Podcast City Net. So definitely go check that out. Go smash the like, go smash the subscribe buttons, and definitely make sure to give us a follow and check out all the great things we have to offer. And of course, the website, podcastcity.net. And of course, we are always looking for interested podcast hosts and content creators to join the network, but we understand that you may not be we may not be what you're looking for right now. And you also may need a new logo, an intro, an outro video, some music for your show, a live stream hosting, all kinds of different stuff, voiceover work, maybe even some consulting. But no matter the need, we have you covered. Just go to podcastcity.net/services and fill out the contact form for an estimate so we can help you reach your podcasting goals. Let me English today. Be creative, be independent, be yourself. Podcast City Network. Ooh, whole mouthful right there. It's going wild, man. Just like the Padres pitching has been going wild because guess who? Joe Musgrove just threw a no-no, the first no-no in Padres team history. What do you think about that, man?
What a story for him. I mean, Joe Musgrove coming in a 3-team trade from the Pittsburgh Pirates in the offseason. San Diego native, 28 years old, I think he is. Yeah, 28 years old. Grew up a Padres fan. How awesome is that? Yeah, it didn't happen. The only thing that would have been cooler is had it happened in San Diego.
Mm-hmm. That would have been even cooler.
Cool. That'd have been really cool. But just kind of think about it. Like this also happened in Globe Life Field. The first no-hitter that was thrown there. It's a brand new stadium for the Texas Rangers, where they, as you've seen, hopefully, on social media or just anywhere in the sports world, they're back to capacity crowds at Globe Life Field. They had a sellout last week, and it's drawn a lot of conversation in the sports world because so many places are doing limited fan base attendance, and then Texas is like, nah, we're going full bore, let's go. And they had 20-some thousand fans at the game that were watching this no-hitter. But no, he's had already it's been a great story. He just kind of breaking down how it happened. In this game, it was second game of a 3-game stand for the Rangers. But Musgrove got off to a hot start. He retired 11 batters.
Man, that's pretty good.
He struck out 10 batters, and nearly 70% of his pitches went for strikes. He only threw 112 pitches. He had 67 pitches kind of late in the game. He's like, okay, let's do this, because pitches are on really heavy pitch counts now, where they pull them a little bit early. But he only allowed one base runner, and it was a hit by pitch in the 4th inning. So how did he respond to that? He just retired the next 16 batters.
Oof.
And then had 0 walks and no errors. Like it was a fantastic. It was almost a perfect game.
that was
almost perfect game.
That's absolutely amazing when you think about it, and only at 28 years old is absolutely insane. And I wonder what kind of way he feels about it. Do you know his little backstory, the true backstory of him being a Padres fan and all the great things he's done? Come on now. This guy loves the Padres. So for him to come in as a fan and probably throw this, I'm sure means the absolute world to him. And like you said, nearly a perfect game. And let's not forget the first no-hitter of 2021. Let's also not forget that. Yeah. So absolutely amazing.
Yeah, he's the solid third starter in that rotation. Because the Padres, they went out and got Yu Darvish, who's the kind of the leader in that rotation. They went and got Blake Snell from our local Tampa Bay Rays, former Cy Young winner. So now he's really solidified himself as that third starter. But it's not because of this one game. He's had a good run, even dating back to when he was with the Pirates. He had 8 starts with the Pirates last year. He was only 1-5, but he still had a sub-4 ERA. And he's now had 28 consecutive scoreless innings dating back to last year. And in his last 4 starts, all are at least 6 innings, and he's got 39 strikeouts in those last 4 starts. So he is by far becoming that solid third man in the rotation for the Padres, who went all in the offseason. Not only on top of that, we've talked about in the past Fernando Tatis Jr. and that massive contract that he got to basically sign him there for life already. And he's only had his first full season in a Padres uniform.
Mm-hmm.
But on top of all that kind of pushed the Padres a little bit, and they've been trying to dent the armor of the Dodgers, and they're already off to a hot start. So since that game yesterday, today they've completed their 3-game sweep of the Rangers. So now they're sitting at 7-3 in this young MLB season. They're only second behind previously said Dodgers. So they're in a groove right now. They've won, I think, 6 straight. I think it was.
Mm-hmm. Yep, 6 straight.
Or no, they had one. They had 1 extra innings the last couple of days ago against the Giants. So they've won like 6 of their last 8, 9, 10 games, something like that.
Either way, only took them 10 games to get a no-hitter on the season. So hey, hats off to those guys. But you know what? We also got to recognize another group of people that we all know and love, and that is the people over at City Limits Taproom. What can you tell us about that, Craig?
Absolutely. Well, City Limits Taproom is located in beautiful DeLand, Florida. It's at 2620 North Woodland Boulevard in DeLand. They've got some great specials going on all week. Starting off tomorrow on Monday, all day $6 wing baskets and $5 pitchers of Yingling, Landshark, and Busch Light. Tuesday is Guys Night, half off all wells and drafts from 7 p.m. to close. Wednesday is all day $5 pitchers of Dealer's Choice from 2 p.m. to close, and $2 seltzers at the outside bar. Thursday is Ladies' Night, $1 wines, wells, and drafts from 7 p.m. to close. Karaoke on Friday night from 7 to close. And, of course, on Sundays, $13 domestic buckets and $16 import craft buckets all day long. City Limits, fantastic location. We've done some on-site shows there for the Super Bowl. We've done them for Halloween specials. We did them for Draft Day. That's where we go and host Draft Day at City Limits.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic place. It's a little bit off the beaten path, but it is fantastic spot to go enjoy their back. The back patio has like a little stage back there, and it's just beautifully set up. Fantastic food. City Limits is the place to go if you live in the Central Florida area.
Absolutely. And what does our good friend over at the Everett Lee Show always say? Try the grilled cheese. It's excellent. I don't know. I'm always partial to the Cuban myself, but whatever. But anyways, City Limits Taproom.
Throwing Everett under the bus here. Throwing EL under the bus.
Oh, man, it's all good, though, because we all just go to City Limits Taproom after and have a good brew. Either way, though, it's now time for the good old meme madness, and we definitely have some good ones this week. And, man, I don't know if you were on Gardner Minshew's Instagram account at all. The Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback decided to do a little bit of manscaping and decided to come out with this little number that you see on your screen, which came with a great quote that said, "Yesterday, we say goodbye to the dirty diesel drapery, which for raw power was second to none, obviously. But we say hello to the more refined platinum power pelt, meticulously crafted for a sleek and aerodynamic design. The pelt is built not only for speed, but also for pleasure. Thanks to Donnie Cutts for taming the beast and Aaron Berkshire for capturing its essence." This is absolutely amazing in every way.
This dude exemplifies like.
I think I want to marry this guy.
This dude, like, I'm gonna feel so bad when when the Jaguars end up trading him or cutting him or whatever they're gonna do when they get Trevor Lawrence in. Like, this guy living in Jacksonville, like. He is Jacksonville. Like, he is.
Yes, he is Duval.
He is Jacksonville, because if you
He's
go,
Duval,
if you
man.
go a little, Oh, he's Duval man like to a T. Like he needs to stay in the state of Florida because he is the NFL's Florida man. Like he's like I
Yes.
love his personality. I love his over the topness that he just brings about him, his bravado. It's fantastic to watch. And then on the field too, like knowing that he's got no offensive line and no receivers, he still goes out and keeps the Jaguars in games,
Yep.
which is phenomenal. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to be able to do that in his first year. Gardner Minshew did it as a late round flyer, like
Straight up.
but yeah, I'm going to feel bad when Minshew is not in Jacksonville anymore. I loved watching him play. I'm probably before he leaves going to get a Minshew Mania jersey just to
Oh,
hang it up,
I
add it
think I
to the
might get one.
collection. I will not forget what Minshew Mania brought to Jacksonville.
Oh my
But
gosh.
it's been a lot of fun.
Hold on. I love Jimmy's
He's
comment
great.
that we now see in the chat that you see on your screen right now. This looks like the cover of a 90s country album. Yes. Yes, it does. Oh my God.
My favorite thing that I saw related to Gardner Minshew. I went to a Jags football game for my birthday a couple of years ago, and um, in the lot there was like it was like a Trans Am or something, but it was the hood of this car was airbrushed of this type of picture from Gardner Minshew, but he was wrestling a tiger with his bare hands.
Oh my
And like
gosh.
that's the type of image that he brought to that city, that team. Like I saw that and I was like, that's legit. Like I would actually own a picture of that.
And what's funny is I bet if you ask him, he'll tell you, yeah, but that really happened. He'd straight be Ben Stiller about it, from Dodgeball. Just, yeah, that really happened. So, but at the end of the day, man, hey, Florida man lives in Gardner Minshew. So we'll see what happens with the, what do you call it, the platinum pelt. Whatever. Oh my gosh. So ridiculous. But we'll move on to our next meme, which pretty much embodies how probably we felt during this whole Gardner Minshew moment is, Drake, the original final score and then our old final score logo, and then the new final score logo. Just makes your head blow off. But that's about how I feel right now after seeing all that with Gardner Minshew. So, hey, is what it is. Oh, man. But, we have a special meme we want to throw up, though, for our good friend Jimmy, because he threw this one up on our Facebook page. When episode 100 drops and you can finally wear your final score merch in public. That's right. He was the lucky guy who was able to get something a little early. But yeah, man, a lot of great final score merch that you can find over there at podcastcity.net/shop. So go check it out for sure. And
yeah, he's been waiting. He got early access to that shirt. He's been waiting to wear it. And I know he's waiting on hats too, because Jimmy, I am too. We're working on it. I've already got it ready to get ordered. So we're just waiting on a few things.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'm sure some people who follow us on social media was able to see about Antoine Griezmann and the just interesting situation he has with his 3 children, with all of them being born literally on the same day. Of course, different years, but all on April 8th, one in 2016, 2019, and 2021. Definitely congratulations to him, though, on their newborn child. So, man, what do you think? Had 3 kids, same birthday?
It makes it easy for birthdays. Just saying.
Oh, my gosh.
You literally only have to remember one day. But, I mean, you think they planned that? They had to have.
They had to have. I don't know how.
They had to have planned that.
Yeah, because they can induce and C-section or do whatever. So, man, they had to have. They had to have.
But you think about it from the conception standpoint. You got to think way ahead to be like, you know what? I want my kids all on the same birthday. So you got to time it out perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
You got to time it out pretty well.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But, hey, hats off. They were able to make it happen. So that definitely is something. But this next meme comes from a good old JDM, our awesome host of Not a Hockey Market podcast. Let me English yet again today, who posted this one up on our Final Score Facebook page not too long ago with Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and Patrick Kane, who've just been killing it. And, of course, you have that's so funny, Happy Gilmore reference again. Is that good? Man.
Yeah, having Connor McDavid and Draisaitl on the same team is kind of cheating, but the Oilers still find a way to screw it up anyway.
Oh yeah, they
They have the
definitely
two
do.
highest scorers in the NHL, and they still can't put it all together.
No, they
That's just
can't.
that's
But
wild to me. It's
hey,
wild.
man, it is wild, and it happens for whatever reason. But hey, there we go. But hey, this next one I think is very interesting given what we've talked about with the New York Jets and the quarterback situation. The Jets, Grim Reaper, already taken Mark Sanchez, Geno Smith, and Sam Darnold. Zach Wilson next.
Well, to be fair, Sam Darnold is not dead. Like his career is not dead yet. Geno Smith and Mark Sanchez, that killed it. Like being on the Jets killed their careers. Sam Darnold actually still has a chance, being now in Carolina. But yeah, Zach Wilson's probably next. I am praying for you, Zach Wilson. I am praying for you. It's about to be rough sledding.
Oh yeah, it definitely is, and we're so sorry. It's just how it works out, man. Like, I guess no better way to say it. Welcome to the NFL. But we'll definitely see how a lot of that goes. But that is the end of Meme Madness, which means time to talk about joining Podcast City Network. Because have you always wanted to start a podcast but didn't know how? Do you already have a podcast but don't know how to grow it? Are you trying to find ways to make your podcast profitable? You can learn to do it here at Podcast City Network because we offer consulting services and tutorial classes to help with learning to better expand your knowledge to grow your show. And we also give access to our network of shows to help with cross-promotion guests and overall reach, while also becoming a part of our ever-expanding PCN community based on people helping people. And the best part is, no membership fee. That's right. You don't have to pay a membership fee to be a part of Podcast City Network. So what are you waiting for? Go to podcastcity.net/join now and join the fastest growing independent podcast network around, Podcast City Network, which means now it is time for the good old give or go. And we definitely have some good topics this week. And I'll throw the first one to you. Alex Rodriguez and Mark Lohr are finalizing a deal to buy the Minnesota Timberwolves. Give or go?
This is kind of interesting for Alex Rodriguez to want to buy into an NBA franchise, and of course, that also is the ownership also owns the Minnesota Lynx, which is the WNBA franchise as well. But the full takeover will happen in 2023. Very very interested because Taylor, Glenn Taylor, who's the majority owner, posted the sale in 2020, July of 2020. But it was kind of tough sledding because he had been in talks with a potential deal to ultimately purchase the Jazz for $1.66 billion. But this sale was expected to be in the $1.5 billion range. Could you imagine owning something that has had literally zero success to be worth $1.5 billion?
Just saying. So, pretty crazy that it'd be kind of almost literal crap to be worth $1.5 billion. But hey, man, I mean, it is what it is. Go on, go good on A-Rod. I guess we're trying to get in the NBA at this point, but the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Well, you gotta wonder though, because A-Rod was also part. If anybody remembers, he was part of a group that tried to bid for the Mets. That did not go as planned. So that didn't happen. But he got the Timberwolves. There are obviously rumors because of Alex Rodriguez's connection to the city of Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
That if the franchise doesn't do well or whatever the case may be, they may move the franchise to Seattle. I highly doubt that. The NBA does not like to just willy-nilly pick up and move franchises. Yes, Minnesota Timberwolves have been struggling a little bit, but they are a very loyal fan base. They just like most fan bases, if you put a halfway decent product on the court that can make the postseason, you're gonna see some of it back from the fans. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I'm a little surprised, like you mentioned, that A-Rod's getting into the NBA.
Yeah.
But I mean, it has been rumored that Minnesota would move in the past. I mean, if anybody is old, if any of our viewers are old enough to remember this, that Taylor bought the Timberwolves for $88 million in 1994 after they were threatening to move the team from Minnesota to New Orleans. Because remember, New Orleans hadn't hosted anything at that point. New Orleans was a city that was meant to get an NBA franchise, which is why they ultimately got the Hornets, and then that moved, and then they got the Pelicans. So, but it's been interesting to see how Taylor came in and actually saved the franchise from moving. They still haven't had any real success since Kevin Garnett left the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And now with A-Rod at the helm in the next couple of years, we'll see what happens. I don't foresee them moving, though. The NBA does not like to just pick up and move franchises like that. Seattle wasn't doing well before they moved either. That's before true. They went to Oklahoma City. They got removed from Seattle because the city wanted a new stadium. That didn't happen. So they're like, okay, fine, we're just going to leave. Even in the attendance numbers were okay, but not great.
Yeah. And I don't foresee a move either happening, but, who knows? A lot of things could fall certain ways, especially now that we're in this new era of COVID. A lot of things could come into play. So who knows? Who really knows? Could also prevent things. Who knows? But it's interesting that Alex Rodriguez and Mark Lord are finalizing this deal. So we'll see where the Timberwolves go from here. But we're going to go ahead and throw it to our next topic. UMass beats St. Cloud State 5-0 to win their first ever NCAA men's hockey title. Give or go?
Well, UMass even to get to this game, they won undermanned in the Final Four. They call it the Frozen Four. For those that are not college hockey educated, the Final Four in college hockey is called the Frozen Four. But yeah, UMass did a phenomenal job of even getting to this game. They finished 20 wins, 5 losses, and 4 ties or overtime wins, and it was phenomenal for them to get their first NCAA men's hockey title, and they got UMass had to beat Minnesota Duluth. That was the team that they were undermanned to. So, but St. Cloud State finishes 20-11 and 0. And I mean, Philip Lindbergh had 25 saves in that game, and phenomenal job by the Minutemen to get their first ever men's hockey title. And college hockey is always a lot of fun. I don't know if you have a chance to watch it a whole lot, but from what this program went through to get to where they're at now, this is just like kind of the Baylor story, to where this program went a combined 11-45-8 in the 3 seasons before Greg Carville became the coach of UMass, and that was in 2016. And to go from that 11-45-8 and then 2 wins in Carville's first year to now fast forward from 2016 to now being on top of the college hockey world, phenomenal story for the UMass Minutemen. Congratulations on your first ever championship.
Absolutely. And definitely so happy for them to be able to pull off this feat because, hey, it is not easy to make it through the Frozen Four, because if you don't watch college hockey, honestly, it is pretty freaking exciting. I'm not going to lie. But definitely hats off again to UMass winning their first ever hockey national championship. Absolutely amazing. But we need to talk about someone else who had an illustrious career himself and was able to win a lot of fights, win a lot of championships, and is now making his in-ring return. And that is one Evander Holyfield, who's going to be returning to the ring for an exhibition fight versus Kevin McBride on June 5th. Give or go?
I'm not really concerned with watching Evander Holyfield at his age back in the ring. I don't really care to watch somebody who's 58 years old step back in the ring, because I can't remember if it was if it's soon Isn't he going to fight Mike Tyson again at some point?
That's part of the plan, and let's not forget that McBride actually was the last person to fight Tyson as well. So there's that too.
I don't care. Like honestly, I don't care. I'm not going to watch it. I don't want to watch old dudes boxing. It's like what's that movie where Stallone and De Niro are the old boxers and they get in the ring and then fight each other? It's a movie I didn't watch, but I just remember the plot line. And those two like hate each other, and like it was just a stupid fight. Like that to me is what this is. Like I really don't care that. Good for him being 58 in better shape than I am at 33. But hey, I don't care. I'm not gonna watch it. I don't even care when he fights Tyson. I'm not gonna watch that either.
Oh my gosh, you absolutely killed me. Then we'll go ahead and just run it to the next one. Former Tennessee Titans star Eddie George named Tennessee State Tigers coach. Give or go.
This is a little bit more interesting because we're seeing in both college football, college basketball first, and now college football, programs are looking to hire former players, like legendary players, to head up their programs. And now, like in college basketball, it's all about the former player going to his alma mater and coaching. But in college football, it's like, who's the most well-known name that we can bring in to coach our program? Let's go do that. Like Jackson State, part of the HBCU and the SWAC conference, they go out and get Deion Sanders to coach, and then now it's been Jackson State has been all over ESPN, like just because of the name recognition and the fact that they're the only thing playing football right now this time of year. So Deion's done okay. They're 4-3, but having Eddie George, I know he didn't go to Tennessee State, but being on the Tennessee Titans, that is name recognition that they can try to use not only from a recruiting standpoint, which I don't think it's going to help them that much, but also from a booster standpoint, like, hey, look, we got this big name. Let's go see if we can play games in Nashville. Let's go see if we can or at the Titan Stadium. Let's see if we can get on ESPN. Like, I feel like that's what these smaller programs are doing because that's what they think they need to do to get a leg up in the national spotlight. That's what they think they need to do to get a leg up in recruiting, is to go get former guys who have never coached before, mind you.
But hey, if it works, it works. And that's the thing you have to look at, because having a guy like Eddie George will absolutely help them. Because think about it. Look at these kids' dads if they're around. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to just be like, hey, I remember Eddie George. That dude was a ballin' running back. You need to go let him coach you. And that's the thing, is that this is not just these young kids seeing these former NFL players. It's also their parents and other people who know them. They're going to be able to influence, because you got to remember, Eddie George was a big part of the Tennessee Titans and that community and that area and everything that was for the Titans when they were growing in Tennessee after the relocation. So, it's crazy when you look at it, especially Deion Sanders. So many people know about Deion Sanders. Come on now. That name recognition alone is going to help attract stars to these smaller schools. And that's something that they're looking for, because if you can get a leg up, you're going to get a leg up, because the world of college football is ever shifting and you got to do what you can do. And like you said, sometimes it works out. Deion Sanders ain't doing too bad, 4-3. Yeah, maybe not ideal, but hey, it's a winning record right now.
It's only going to help in the recruiting until they're not winning. And then when they're not winning, kids don't give a crap who's coaching. They're not going to go to that school. Look at no. I'll even have some self-deprecating humor here. Look at Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh, big name. Big name in coaching, goes to Michigan, big program. They're hoping it'll help in recruiting, and it did. And it's not working anymore, because Michigan had the most players enter the transfer portal this offseason than any other school in the country. And it only works until it doesn't. And I think that's exactly what schools that are smaller going this route of getting Eddie George's and Deion Sanders to coach. It's going to work until it doesn't. And then you're back to where you were. You're at the bottom end of the food chain. Good luck.
Let's be honest though. Harbaugh was not a big elite NFL star. And on top of it, there's a big big difference between Michigan and Tennessee State. Even I can give Michigan the recognition of the fact that it is a big time program with the largest stadium in all of college football and is illustrious in all of its own regards. Oh, God, man, that tasted nasty to say. But either way, it's a huge difference from that to Tennessee State. What's Tennessee State known for? Do you know? No, you don't, because no one really knows. It's Tennessee State. So at the end of the day, for these types of schools that are on a much smaller scale, it's going to help them attract exactly what they need to be successful. It's just going to take time for game plans to be implemented. And for Deion Sanders, who I feel is one of the most charismatic coaches I could possibly imagine to put in charge of in charge of a college team, that for them to even be sitting at 4-3, 7 games into his tenure, I say is a pretty good mark. So I do have high hope for Eddie George at Tennessee State and any other former NFL star that tries to get into coaching on a smaller college level. Now, if we were talking big college level, that's a whole nother animal. You know, you can't just go out there and become Nick Saban or Dabo Swinney or even Brian Kelly like it ain't nothing. But at the end of the day, you know, we're talking about practice. No, I'm just kidding. We're talking about Tennessee State and small schools, so it's all good. I think it'll be all right.
I can tell you what Tennessee State's known for.
You looked it up the whole time I was talking, didn't you?
I did.
What are they known for?
Fun fact. Oprah Winfrey is an alumni.
Well, I eat my words. Tennessee State is known for something now. Known as the alma mater of Oprah Winfrey. Wow.
I forgot too. Also, one more thing. He did already add a former NFL player who's also an alumni of the school, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. He is a big name that is also an alumni of that school, who's going to be on the staff.
You know what? We're going to go ahead and just throw it to the next topic. Arizona fires Sean Miller, and Bill Self gets a lifetime contract from Kansas on the same freaking day. Give or go.
I'm not surprised Arizona fires Sean Miller, but they should have done it a while ago, because this is obviously stemming from the FBI doing a probe and investigation into the program after Sean Miller was caught on a tape saying about how much money he's going to be paying to DeAndre Ayton to get him to go to school at Arizona. So I'm a little surprised they waited so long.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, on the same day, like you said, Bill Self got a full-time or a lifelong contract, or whatever the fuck they call it. He got a lifetime contract at Kansas, and that to me is okay. Well, that's happening at Arizona because of the NCAA and the FBI investigations.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas just flips the script and then doubles down on that by saying, Bill Self is our guy. We don't care what you say, NCAA. You can throw whatever you want at us in terms of probations and punishments and whatever. This is our guy. We're sticking with him. Good luck trying to take us down.
Pretty much. So it's definitely going to be very interesting to see how all this plays out. I've never seen anything like this. So absolutely crazy to see how this has gone, but I'm sure we'll probably see more of it, just like you'll see more of us on Podchaser. What can you tell us about that, Greg?
Absolutely. Well, Podchaser is your daily source for podcast discovery. Apple Podcasts is no longer the only credible place to rate and review podcasts. On Podchaser, you can follow creators, browse every podcast ever, and you can rate and review episodes. We're also on Podchaser. Just go to podchaser.com, search keyword FinalScore, give us a follow, a rating, and a review.
Absolutely. Definitely make sure to check it out. A lot of great stuff going on over there at Podchaser. But that does bring us to the week ahead. And a lot of great stuff that's going to be going on. Honestly, we just saw the Masters conclude, but still always a lot of great sports, including the rest of the NBA season that's going on. But big things always happening with us with the PCN Sports lineup, with Not a Hockey Market Podcast, the Nest Podcast, the Rip Griffin Show, Fixed Edged, Not Your Average Podcast in the 716, and of course, Final Score. Definitely make sure to go over to podcastcity.net and check out all the great PCN Sports affiliated shows. And we're going to have some really great news that's going to be coming out in the coming months about PCN Sports and where the direction of that is going. So definitely make sure to keep your eyes glued to Podcast City Network and to Final Score as those announcements will eventually be made public. And I can't wait, man. It's going to be a lot of exciting stuff.
Yeah, we're working on a fun announcement that hopefully we can actually announce this week. We're working on an awesome interview lineup that we're trying to get nailed down for the NFL draft. So hopefully we can announce that this week. That'll be a lot of fun. I'm super excited when we're just setting up schedules now, but I'm super excited to be able to have our next guests on the show.
Absolutely. And it's going to be a lot of great stuff. And like Greg said, we'll definitely be making those announcements as soon as we possibly can, hopefully this week, but we will see. But we thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll definitely see you next week for episode 102 live here on Facebook Live at 9 p.m., our new start time. So definitely make sure to change your reminders, notifications. If you have to go and put it in on your phone, go put it in on your phone. That way you don't miss Final Score. But man, that is our show. That is episode 101. Any final words, Craig?
No, have a great week, everybody. I don't think we don't have any holidays coming up this week. We were talking about this before the show. We got to check our calendars for everything. Like, I don't know. NFL draft is in 2 weeks. We're really excited for that. We're gearing up for that. But hopefully everyone has a great week. Get your week off to a great start tomorrow, and we will look forward to seeing you all next Sunday night.
Absolutely. And until then, I'm Chris, and that's Craig, and you guys have just watched Final Score. Y'all have a great night.